Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Life Enhancement and Development Live. I'm your host, Dr. Cassandra Washington, and it is indeed a pleasure to be with you all again this week on this beautiful Thursday. And I am so excited about the conversation that we are going to be engaged in. And I have some awesome guests with me this evening. We have, of course, my partner in crime, or I say my partner in good and awesome things and success. That is none other. She said, don't call her. She said she's going to get an honorarium, and I believe it. Dr. Bernadette Hicks Kelly. And we also have with us this evening two special guests who are going to be sharing their experiences with us in this conversation. We have Morgan Frazier. Say hello, Morgan.
Hi.
And we also have with us Aisha Saffold.
Hello, everyone. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, indeed. And we are excited to have you ladies with us. You know, every week, Bernadette and I, we're on here and we're talking about things. We're talking about life. We're talking about business. We're talking about things, issues that may affect us as individuals, communities, and businesses. And today we are going to continue our conversation on transitioning to become grownish, talking about transitioning to adulthood. And we have also been talking of this year, the start of this year, about appreciating the journey. And in our conversation, we thought it would be good to have someone talking with us and sharing in the conversation who's actually experiencing the things that we have been talking about. And that's where Asia and Morgan come in. And I just believe that they're going to have some wonderful things to share. Good evening, Dr. Carol Washington. Thank you for joining us this evening. She says, good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good
And so
evening.
we're going to we want to talk about that because I think you can get your point over when don't you think so, Bernadette? As you coach people, you talk to them, people can really get it when you give them examples or they hear someone who talk about what the actual experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to jump right into this conversation. Hi, my sister from St. Louis, Missouri, Rosa. So we have a great audience with us this evening, and we want you all in the chat. We want you all to participate as well. We want you to chime in. We want you to share because if you are not going through this, you have. If at some
Absolutely.
point, as my mother used to say, if you keep on living,
Keep on living.
you keep on living, you're going to eventually have to enter into adulthood. And so we're going to jump right in because this has been a conversation and has been a concern of ours. Bernadette and I have talked, and of course, she encounters it a lot. She started a mentoring program, and Asia has a mentoring program, and Morgan works with her mother. In case you all did not know, Morgan is Bernadette's daughter.
Woo. I wonder how that's
She
like.
works, she works with her mother. And so Morgan is going to be able to really give us some good insight. She will really give us good insight. Both of them. And so we want to get started in the conversation about transitioning. And I want to start about asking you ladies and Bernadette and I, we want you all to be candid and with the questions that we're going to ask you. Uh, when did you realize that it was time for you to grow up, Morgan?
Oh, um, I think I was kind of young actually. I think I had to be like 13, 14, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, because my siblings were both out of the house. And so I had to do a lot of things inside the house on my own that a
Mhm.
lot of my friends were not doing. So a lot of my friends still weren't like allowed to use a stove on their own or allowed to go check the mail on their own. But I was doing all of that by myself anyway. So I kind of felt a little ahead.
Oh, great. At 13, you started realizing, hey, things are changing. Things are changing, and I'm having to become more independent and do things on my own. What about you, Asia?
I wish I did realize that at the at a young age. I really want to say maybe like I don't know, maybe like 22, 23. Only because, I had just like, quit college at that time. And my mama was like, Aisha, what do you want to do with your life? And I'm like really thinking like my parents are like still going to be there. Well, they were still there, but financially I'm thinking like, okay, whatever I decide to do, they're going to be there. But at that time, my mom was like, okay, I was like, well, I'm just going to get an apartment, A, B, C, D. Mom was like, okay, well, you're going to pay for the apartment on your own. And I'm like, wait, what? So, I had just decided I was not going to do college. And then my mom was like, I was like, okay, what job can I get? I ended up working at KFC. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is real. Like, I don't think I ever had like a for real, like hands on, like nitty gritty, like family wasn't attached to, type of job. So I really had to grow up. I had to put my feelings to the side. I had to like follow orders. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, but I do know that was probably the first time it was like, dang, like I'm really like in adult life right now. I think the second time was when I think I totaled my car. My parents had my granddaddy gave me my first car. My mama bought me my second car.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I had another car after that. But I think like my third or fourth car, my mom was like, okay, you're paying for this car. And I'm like, what? And all that was like 22, 23. Like, during that time, you think you're supposed to be an adult. And I'm like, oh, Lord, like I'm for real, like adulting, like right now. So I wish it was that early because maybe things would have turned out differently. But, again, like you said, I appreciate the journey. Like, so it's maybe the person I am today. So I'm grateful for that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm listening to the differences and the differences and the different times of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The different times of awareness. And so that brings me, I guess, to my next question. So when you got to that point and you said, it's different. I've got to do something different, and something different is expected of me. What skills did you draw back on that your parents, essential skills did you draw back on that your parents gave you to help you begin to prepare yourself for this new awareness or this new transition that you were feeling, Aisha?
I think for me, it had to be one life skill that they taught me, and I still carry it on to this day. That you have to learn to work with different people, and I think that was the issue. Like you're gonna have to work with people who are nice. You're gonna have to work with people who are mean. You're gonna have to work with people who are professional, people who are unprofessional, people who had the same upbringing with you, people who had a different upbringing from you, because that's the way life is. And I think a lot of problems that plague our world today with the violence and stuff is because we don't know how to live in the world with different people. We see a difference in people, and we feel threatened, or you just don't understand. But I am grateful that my parents did teach me to put me in realms where I had to work with different people of different races, different cultures, different environments. So I can, once I do, as I'm going through life's journey and I meet these different people, I can form an appreciation for, their stories and, why they're in this place in life. So I do think that's one value or one skill that my parents did teach me. So I am appreciative of it.
Awesome. That is so awesome. And I think that is one skill we all need, and especially in this particular dispensation in time, you're going to have to know how to work with all kinds of people and be aware of all kinds of people. Now, Morgan, what about you? You had this awareness at 13, and as time went on, now you are a film and theater student at Oglethorpe University. And just tell us a little bit about your experience there, Morgan, and what essential skill have you incorporated that you were taught and learned growing up?
I guess for me, just being able to act quickly under pressure and just kind of solve problems here and there. without, I guess, wasting time thinking about what just happened. Just go ahead and fix it if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's out of my hands, just let it go. There's nothing I can do about it at that point.
Oh, that's awesome because that's a skill that a lot of us as adults we still trying to learn. How to just let it go.
Most definitely. I know I'm one that I'm still learning.
How to let it go. Hello, Rose Graham. Dr. Carol said that was amazing what you said, Aisha, because many youth got the haven't not many youth have gotten that skill from their parent, and that is so
Mhm.
true. That is a skill that is definitely needed in this particular day and time. Now, we want you all who are engaging with us to please share this live, and we want you to engage in the comments. We want you to let us know, when did you um, become aware that it was time for you to grow up, and what essential skill did you pull on from your home training, from your time in your parents' home, that helped you to make the transition successfully, and that you have been using. Is it Tree Smith says she's still trying to learn that. Well, she's still trying to learn those things, how
Hi,
to deal with
Tris.
all kinds of people, and also how to just be able to let things go. And I think, what do you think, Bernadette, about? And I want to speak to that, to what both of them said, both of those key skills, because I think that's probably where uh, the lack of development
Mhm.
or comes from in our young adults today, and their inability to really get out there, to use their wings and fly.
Absolutely. So I'm proud to hear Morgan say she learned that, because that's one thing I definitely teach my children is make a decision and don't think that your decisions are wrong. So don't keep questioning yourself. You have good decisions. So I say that because sometimes as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old, we sometimes as adults we can expect them to make decisions based on a 54-year-old or 55-year-old. And I'm like, I don't expect you to think like me. I don't expect you to make a decision. I expect you to make a decision as a 21-year-old make. So don't over process your decision making. Make a decision based on your knowledge and your understanding and clarity. And I was telling, don't what if stuff to death, because I did that before. So I know what that feels like is you don't make a move. So that's what, again, I really, really push is don't what if it to death, make a decision. And your decision is a good decision. Just, do your research. And far as your parents saying that you're going to work with multiple cultures, that is probably one of the best things. I'm
It
gonna
is.
steal that, because that's there are so many people, even people that I work with or hire, we have to let them go because they could not conform to working with people that didn't sound like them, look like them. And you know what we get, Cassandra, most of the time, well, everybody in here sound white. Well, what is sounding white? Because we use proper English. So now we're sounding white. So I had a lot of people that we hired and ended up having to let them go, because I was saying, you're not going to talk to my clients like crazy. Don't call my client dude. My clients are not dude. It's yes, sir. It's no, sir. It's yes, ma'am. And it's no, ma'am. I don't want to hear you answer the phone and say dude. And then we had some people, we couldn't even let them answer the phone. So that is key, that, your mom just really impressed on you, even at an early age, to say, respect that you're going to work with different cultures. Again, even with Morgan, that's one of the reasons we select certain schools. I was glad that she chose Oglethorpe, because there's every culture, every nationality that you can imagine go to that school. So she has friends of all different races. So I was like, don't be afraid to have friends of different races, because you're connected with this whole world. So that's
Yeah.
my
That's
take.
awesome.
And then I'm sorry, and then to chime in, like, what Miss I think Washington said in the comments, like, a lot of times, you can't, the parents, they don't know. So it takes programs like ours. It takes even like, whatever profession you in. Like, I'm an educator, and I teach my kids, they get upset and they want to remove themselves from another group. Well, no, we're going to stay right here. We're going to work through our problems, even at a third grade level, because you're going to have to work with each other at least some point during
Yeah.
this year. So we might as well talk about those things. So I think it takes us as a community to see like the problems as well with it. and figure out a way, whether it might not be starting a nonprofit like we did, but it might be maybe hosting a workshop, some type of small workshop, or even in Sunday school classes, somewhere, different life skills can be taught, and it doesn't even have to come like from a parent's perspective. If it comes off right, that will leave a child, that will stick with a child forever. So sometimes the parents don't even know. So it's on, it's on us as a community to step in. We sort of strayed away from, it takes a village to raise a child. So, we have to get back into those old proverbs and things like that, because, you look at the day and time, it was the same, but it was sort of different too. It was a sort of like accountability about it. So, yeah.
That's
Sorry,
awesome.
y'all talk a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, we love it because that's what we're on here to do.
Absolutely.
And have a conversation. That is so true. And it, for those of the people who don't know you, Aisha has a nonprofit, and she is the founder, and I think I put it up there, founder and executive director at Pearls Mentoring for Girls. And there are different chapters in is it the Mississippi Delta, or does it extend further than the Mississippi Delta, Asia?
Yes, it's in Mississippi, and we just extended to Tennessee and Memphis. So, yes, ma'am. So we're in Hines, Madison, Holmes, LaFleur, and Memphis, and be on the lookout. Might be some more chapters popping up.
Awesome. So she has a mentoring program as well, because it's needed. It's needed to prepare the young girls for adulthood, for the future, for the workforce, for every area of their lives. And so in listening to you ladies talk about your experiences and your awareness of, it's time for me to grow up, to become an adult, to become more independent, to become more responsible. And as you have ventured out, Morgan, you have ventured, you're in college, you're away from home, you're on your own. Asia, you are on your own. You just graduated from college, from Jackson State University, and has started a nonprofit, an entrepreneur. Has anything ever happened, or have you had an experience where you thought, hey, look, I want to go back home?
That's every day. That's every day. Listen, it's like, because sometimes I'd be like, Lord Jesus, I don't feel like adulting today. Mama, come get me, take me back.
Please take me back.
Please take me back. Like, okay, look, you want me to wash a dish? Like, I promise I won't say nothing. But no, it's life. Life makes me want to move back. And it's crazy. My parents, they live 6 minutes away. So it's not that far. So but people, look, y'all can relate. The people, they can relate. I'm telling you, Morgan, you might can relate too. Like a little bit. But I know me, like, but I don't know. It's just good to be able to go home.
What about you, Morgan? Do you ever say, "Oh, I know my home is right. I'm not too far away." But have you ever thought about just look? Forget this. I can commute to school.
Not often, actually. Mostly when the food at school is so bad, where I'm just like, I'd rather be at home. But my older brother went to college when I was 9. So he would come back, he'd be bragging about like everything he could do. And ever since, I didn't know that it was an option to leave home. But as soon as I found out it was an option, I was like, I'm leaving. So I like to visit, but I'll see my people every now and again, and it'll fill me up for a bit, but I don't necessarily miss staying at home all the time.
Okay, let me add something to that too. Let me add something to that. So, Cassandra, so Morgan has known this is how we run the household.
Was funny. Hold on. Go ahead.
So this is how we run the household. So when my children were little children, I started telling them, guess what's going to happen? You're going to graduate from high school. You're going to go to college. If you choose not to go to college, you can stay here for 6 months until you find a job. If you find a job in 6 months, then you can move out on your own. In that 6-month window, if you do not find a job, then they're taking you in the military. They're taking the Army, Navy, Air Force, Special Services, undercover. I can get you in the CIA. I can get you in the FBI. whichever one you want to go to. So they always had a plan. And Morgan would tell you, I started asking by the time they 10, 11, 12, every year I ask, so what's the plan? What's the plan? Are you going to college? You going to get a job? You going to the military? Do you want to call some people and get you hooked up in the CIA, FBI? What's the plan? But we always had a plan. So when she talk about, no, I didn't miss on, she already knew we got a roadmap. There's a blueprint. So, and it's funny, Cassandra, because when we was there at college and we were packing up and getting stuff together, and so we're having this conversation. I was like, okay, we're a year out now. So what's the plan for the year out plan? She was like, well, me and my friend, we was going to move out to our own place. And so she said, well, I may stay home for a year. I said, okay, what's the plan? What's the plan? So, we're now moving in. So, Cassandra, as your children get older and your younger children get the benefit, as your life get better sometimes,
Yeah. That's right.
you know how it is. Sometimes the youngers get the benefit from things that maybe the olders didn't get to. So now we're at the stage where we're telling her, okay, our goal is to purchase you a home, purchase you a condo, get you into financial wealth. So, and then your roommates can, you can room. And then they can pay the rent, to pay the whatever. So that's the goal. So she already know what the goal is. So she probably a little bit more, I ain't ready to go home. I got some options, So she doesn't have all the options that all the children have. So she got a little cushion coming, Cassandra.
Latrice, tag my mama. Tag my mama. Oh my God, that's a blessing though. That's a blessing.
So our plan look a little different, Cassandra.
That's a good point. That's a good plan. That's a good plan. We were talking about that accountability, and Treese said accountability is lacking lately, and we have to reinstate it. That is one thing, one of the major foundations, and one of the main things that are missing in the life of young adults.
Yes.
Is accountability. And of course, it takes a village to raise a child. And Morgan, Dr. Carol, love what you say. Yes, indeed. So, of course, now I know when I was growing up, it was a while before I left home, because even though I went off to school, I still would come back home on the weekends. And so when it was like I was like 28 when I finally just got my wings and just flew on, And so it's funny because Aisha said she was 22 when she finally left home, and I've heard people say that they were 18, and so it's just different for different people. But when you do leave, you need to be prepared, because I know some 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds, they didn't get prepared. They didn't, and sometimes it's not that the preparation was not there. They didn't want it. Absolutely. They wanted to leave home. They thought they were already grown. Didn't want nobody to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about what it means to be grown, though, because Dr. Carol said she was 18 when she left home, and she hadn't been back since. And so, a lot of times people think, the young adults think that the age or the size make them grown. But that doesn't, to me, that you're not grown just because you're 21. You're not grown just because you're 18, Aisha.
Yeah. Listen, I think honestly, like it depends on the generation too, because when mama and them was, and daddy and them, or and grandma and them, when they was coming up, I think they had to grow up quicker.
They did.
I feel like, they had to grow up quicker. And I tell people that all the time. And then like in our generation, like me and Morgan, we have the, just the necessity of having like, different types of research where people are researching different avenues and things. So like it was an article saying, a lot of millennials or a lot of Generation Z, their parents are letting them stay home, build their money. And then, go off. But like back in the day, it wasn't like that. So, it depends on the generation too. They have to grow up like, totally different than we did. Every generation is different. What I might be when I have my kids, it might be what I might be they might be leaving the house, 30, 40, I don't know, but I'm just saying, but every generation is different. Something is different about that. And, as we are growing and we're learning, we try our best to choose the best avenues that are best for us. Our parents did too. They choose the best avenues that they feel are best for their children. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sandra,
go ahead.
I'm gonna add one thing that she said to that, which is so true. Also, you can have the same siblings in the same home and they can get something totally different. You can get a sibling that as soon as they turn 16, 17, they're mature. They are mentally mature enough to move and be on their own and survive. Then you have those same siblings grew up in the same household and they're 25 and they're 28. And the 17-year-old is like, what's wrong with you? I'm out and surviving. You still home and complain about mom and dad's rule. Move out. And instead of them moving out, they can't get it. And it's not that they didn't hear the same thing. It's just it's hearing and listening are two different things. I can hear you talk all day long, but if I'm not listening and putting it into practice, it's not going to happen. So that's why you'll see siblings live in the same household, have the same two parents, and do something totally different. One can survive and thrive, and one can never get off the ground and fly on their own. So it's amazing if their listening skills and putting things into practice, totally different.
And you can have, and it was 10 of us, but everybody doesn't have the same personality. Exactly. Everybody doesn't have the same personality. You're all your own individual persons. And, whereas one may be bold and courageous, the other one may be a little more timid. And my mother used to tell me, I know this one needs something different. Yes. Why did you let her do that? Or why did you allow him to do it? Because you can handle this, but they need a little more nurturing. And so even in that in itself is a lesson. Yes. Because it does prepare you for the real world. Goes back to what Aisha was saying. When you're going to meet all these different kinds of people who may not be as mature as you are, or who may not have had the same kind of training as you are, you have to learn to be a little more patient. You have to learn to respect their decisions and respect who they are. Doesn't mean that you have to accept and hang with them and be with them, but you have to accept that this is the way this person chooses to live, the decisions that they choose to make. So you got 10 people that's growing up in the same household, but they're making different decisions. They have the same teaching, same training, but they're making different decisions because they're their own individual person. They may be your sibling, so it prepares you. It goes back to what Aisha was saying. When you get out in the real world and you meet all these different people from different homes, they came from somewhere too.
Exactly.
And I had to get over the culture shock of thinking that everybody had the same kind of training. Everybody does not have the same kind of training. Jamie says children should be taught to be self-sufficient at an early age. And I think it does. It needs to happen as early as possible. I used to think that my niece's mother probably shouldn't put her on the bus early in the morning because she's 6. But guess what? That's teaching her to be independent.
Absolutely.
That's teaching her to be independent, and it's teaching her at an early age to be responsible, to be aware, because she has to get up early. She has to go to the bus stop at a specific time, and it's teaching her to be on time.
Absolutely. So just to take it a little bit deeper than that, Cassandra. So now what happens is, now when marriage time comes for our young ladies, our young men, when we start talking about unequally yoked, this is the other part of unequally yoked. Aisha may believe one thing. Aisha's a hard worker. She's always been a hard worker. She comes from a line of hard workers. So she meets someone and he's not a hard worker. You get together. I want to lay on the sofa all day and not go to work. Oh, that you already know. So that's the other part. So all of this goes back to pay attention. Pay attention to what mom and dad, what's the characteristics of mom and dad, because mom and dad characteristics is also possibly son or daughter characteristics. So we have to pay attention to all of that, because then we fall into that whole unequally yoked, how you process, what you do, what you believe in. Like for me, I worked when I was in college. However, when my daughter went to college, I was like, I don't want you working. When my son went to college, I don't want you working. I want you to go through college, focus on college. Because I remember how hard that was, that I got to work, go to school, and do all this stuff at the same time. So it's like, I don't want your focus to be worried about, I got to get a job, go to school, all this. I don't want you to focus on that. And my husband believes the same thing. He's like, no, I don't want her focusing on that. I want her to focus on just going to school. Whatever we have to pay, we'll just pay it, period. But let her focus on going to school. And then when it's plenty of time to be an adult. As I say, you got plenty of time to pay bills. Don't worry about paying no bills. You got plenty of time to pay bills.
So with that being said, and you brought up that point, this day and time is very challenging. So ladies, what is the dating pool like? She just talked about that being unequally yoked. What is the dating pool like in this for you young ladies? Who wants to go first? Look, Morgan, what's it's like? Morgan is you live on a college campus, and so what is the dating pool like, Morgan?
I don't date, so I don't know. But it's a little shallow. It's a little shallow.
Yeah. It makes you kind of, and it probably makes you kind of leery because of your options of what it is that you have to choose from.
Yeah, maybe it'll be different once I graduate and my whole life isn't just around my tiny little school. But as for right now, no.
It's not. What you say, Bernadette?
I think she got to focus.
Please do.
Right. Look, Treese. Is her name pronounced Treese?
It's pronounced Treese. Treese is actually one of our advisors for the LaFleur County chapter. So she's from the Mississippi Delta. And listen, I know she waiting on my comment because
Who's that a mess?
and she probably meant that from. Oh, she said the dating pool is a mess. Treese, shut up. Listen, but no, I actually had when I got the list of potential questions and stuff, I had put it on Instagram and I was like, y'all, look at this question. I said, how should I answer? Because my comment was going to be so negative. It was going to be so negative because it's something else. But my friend girl's sister, she made a good little comment and I had to go back and reevaluate what she said. But it was she said the dating pool is like a wishing well. You throw your coin in wishing for the best. And so, in my mindset, I be trying to remain positive. So, the dating pool is so iffy. It's so murky. It's so, I don't know. It's just weird. But, at the end of the day, and as a Christian woman, you still just have hope that, the Lord has your person out there. So don't rush it. You're going through this journey for a reason. And, again, just don't rush it because, you rush something, you're going to get something that you don't want, that you don't need. You go looking for something that you don't need. And, I just think God's time is perfect. So the dating pool, I don't know, especially with being a professional, a woman who basically comes from a good family, educated, have my own nonprofit and, businesses and stuff like that, it sometimes intimidate men. And, where sometimes you have to feel like you have to down your successes and stuff just to sort of make him feel heightened. So I know for me, I know for me, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just up and down. It's kind of, I don't know what to say, but you just got to have faith that the Lord has your person out there and go for that. Just don't rush it. Morgan, I wish I did take it slow when I was your age. I don't know. I had this timeline that I wanted to fit. I was like, okay, graduate at this time, get married at this time, have babies at this time. And the Lord, it's he laughed at me girl, ha. And you got to look at that. You got to look at that because, okay, think about if I was to get married, if I would have got married at a young age, I would have never had my nonprofit. We wouldn't be like mentoring young ladies and going like doing the type of work we did, because you know it's a lot of work to do that. And just thinking balancing that plus a husband and kids. So you know you have to thank God for those journeys. So but I'm still, you know, I'm just saying, I see, look, I'm a good girl, Christian. I see some mamas on here. If you got a son, I'm just saying, just stop playing. My resume good. Let me stop playing. But the Lord,
That's all right.
don't rush it, Morgan. Don't rush it at all. Don't rush it. Please
But
don't.
Dr. Carol said, that's right, Aisha. Don't come down. Don't come down.
Come down.
Don't lower your standards. And Rose said, that's right, Morgan. You stay focused.
Yes.
Stay focused. Stay focused. And I guess I can relate to Morgan, because when I was in school, I just had my mind on completing school. You know, finishing school. And I just, Bernadette used to laugh at me though, used to tease me. She said, Stan, you be looking so serious. You be looking so
she was mean. What Carolyn at? Carolyn.
And that goes like people are just different. I know me, like at a young age, I was very family oriented. Like, I don't know, for some reason, I just knew like, you know, I wanted to like be that nurturer. And, you know, you see your parents growing up and you grow up in a loving household. You're like, oh man, I want this. But, you know, again, the Lord got a way of saying, I wish I would have focused on school, you know, maybe, but everything happens for a reason.
We all have to, like we said, appreciating the journey. This Dr. Carol agreeing with you. We are appreciating our own journey, our own path. And your path wasn't wrong, and Morgan's path is not wrong. My path is not. Bernadette's path is not. We all have to walk our own path, and that's something. And you know, going into adulthood, all of those things shaped us and are shaping us, helping us to become who we are predestined to be. And so we need to appreciate all those things, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, we learn, there are lessons that we learn from it all. From it all. Nothing is going in the trash as far as the lessons that we can pull from all of those things. And so, and talking about, you know, all of these areas, Carolyn, I'll stop. Talking about just me with sweat on her nose.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me mute this.
Carolyn is done.
Oh my God, I love that. I love y'all friendship. I love that.
I was serious. I was
a
serious-minded person at 20, 22, 20. I was just serious.
Definitely focused.
But you know, so just talking about all those things, talking about, because you know, growing up as young ladies, we think about getting married, you know, but that looks different and a different timing for everybody. You know, society says, "Ooh, by the time you're 20, getting ready, you should meet him in college." I didn't meet him in college. You should, if you don't meet him in college, then it's over. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. So you just, you know, a lot of the things that society push out there, you know, we just don't need to let society or people try to dictate how our path is supposed to, our journey is supposed to look, and how it's supposed to work out. And so when you talk about all of these different areas, because, you know, I think about growing up, a lot of the things that my parents taught us had to do with building us up in every area, how to handle your money, you know, how to handle relationships, how to resolve conflict. Definitely in my house with 9 other siblings, you gonna have some conflict. How to resolve conflict, how to show up for work. My mom just thought you should not be laying in the bed even on Saturday morning. Get up at 6, you know. But all of those things prepared me for when I got ready to go to college and a job. You got to get up. So is there any area, Morgan, that you feel like you're more prepared in than others? The work ethic, the relationship part, the finance part, being able to assert yourself and be a leader or a decision maker, a critical thinker, any area that you feel like you're more advanced in than other areas?
Not necessarily. I guess I feel that I have more of a plan than some of the people I meet. A lot of my friends are seniors and they're graduating this Saturday. and a lot of them don't know what they're doing because after Saturday at 9 o'clock they won't be students anymore. So I feel like because I have like a plan A through like J, I feel a bit more prepared because I have like options prepared. Yeah. Other than that, everything else will happen as it happens, but I feel at least more safe that I have options laid out.
Awesome. So she feels Morgan sounds like she's the type of person who just refuses to be bothered. She's just not gonna let anything get her all, as the old folks says, all out of whack. She's not just gonna let nothing get throw her off and get her out of a piece. That's what I'm thinking. She's just not the type of person that's just gonna get all upset if things don't go the way. I got another plan.
She's probably worse than you, Cassandra, would I'll cut you off. Yeah, that right there.
Oh,
Yeah, that right there. I'll cut you off. So that's the rule. I'll cut you off.
Dr. Carol says she likes that Morgan playing A through J. What about you, Asia? Is there an area in your life where you feel like you're more mature, more developed than another area?
I just think like just the professionalism part. Just being able to, when I walk in the room to be able to socialize and to network and to just meet different people. I'm very bubbly. I don't meet a stranger. And I think that goes back. I don't know, it's something about, I don't know. I think it's something about the first child. Like a lot of first kids, they're very active and very social. Not all of them, but majority of the friends that I have is totally different than like the middle and the younger children. Like I don't know. So I think that prepared me well, just being able to just, a lot of the avenues that I'm able to open, not only for myself, but for my businesses and for my community is because I network. I'm social. I can go up to talk to anybody. I can talk about anything. So I think that prepared me just very well for life. And again, that goes back to like just being able to, just meet different people, talk to different people, work with different people, work through conflict in a professional manner. So yes, I think that's one thing. And I think I really do appreciate that. And again, like, nobody's perfect. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. There are some areas that I do need to work on, but I do know that's one thing. Like, I'm just grateful to God. I thank him every day. Like, Lord, thank you for my bubbly self. Thank you for my bubbly self. Thank you so much, Lord, for my socialism, being able to be social, and just not meet a stranger, because sometimes some people just need that anyway, just that personality. So I just thank God for that.
Oh, that's awesome. And you do have
awesome.
such a very wonderful, engaging personality that just pulls you in and makes you feel like a person has been knowing you for a long time.
Thank God, my mama, my grandma, it just rubs, and yes, I just want to trickle down, trickle down. Be like, this Aisha Saffold, you Aisha Saffold daughter, ain't it? Like, that's how I want it. That's how I want it.
Exactly. That is wonderful, wonderful. So when you all, Morgan, when you went to university, did you have a culture shock? Was it a culture shock for you when you went to university?
Yes. The area I grew up in was all Black, except for like there would be a few Hispanic people and like 3 white people, but other than that, everybody was Black. But my university it's like 50% white, and the other 50% are various different minorities. So it was a culture shock for me being around that many white people. Yeah, and just kind of getting used to that because, the way people around me acted was just very different from the way I guess a typical white person would act. And so I just had to kind of get used to like the differences, and some of the jokes are coming across like, I guess, microaggression, racism, and things like that. But other than that, it felt pretty fine. It was easier for me to kind of find people I got along with more, just because I didn't feel like I was trying to be like stereotypical Black coming from like
Mhm.
East Atlanta and having like, I guess, a personality or likes and dislikes that might not have fit within like the mold that I was
Mhm.
supposed to be.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it was a bit like, okay, I like this thing that a lot of people considered weird, but you don't think I'm weird or like because I like this thing. This is great.
Oh, awesome. So you kind of found I guess I wouldn't necessarily say your tribe, but you found an environment where you could fit.
Yeah.
Okay, they have a word for it. She has a whole graduation theme around it. What did you call them, Morgan?
Oh, this isn't for the. I'm part of the. I'm part of an improv troupe, and the seniors of my troupe are graduating. So I went to the dollar store and got like a bunch of gifts for them, but I made it all rainbow colored just because I wanted gifts for my clowns. Um, so I forgot exactly what I said. Mama thought it
She
was
said
hilarious.
we're just a group of clowns. All we do is clown around. So she get a whole theme of just clowning around, and we're just a group. She was like me and my clowns. So I just thought that was so unique, just me and my clowns.
That is unique and that is different. And Morgan was just involved in. She comes across as being very laid back and quiet, but she's a film and theater student at Oglethorpe University, and she just helped produce a stage play. Am I right, Morgan?
Yes. So this year I co-wrote and co-directed a stage play with one of my friends. And after that, I performed in the play that my school did afterwards. So we did a student production and then I performed in a play. And with our film club, I was secretary of it this past year, but I just got voted in as vice president. But I will be assistant
Woo-hoo.
directing all of the this
Hey,
year.
go.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
I love that. See what I'm saying? And it is so wonderful and refreshing to listen to you ladies and see you and hear you talk and how articulate you are and how you are thinkers and you are doing some great things. That's right. Uh Dr. Carol said, that's awesome, Morgan. And uh, Tree Smith said, wonderful, Morgan. And Dr. Carol also said, you found your niche when you got into that environment. You found other people who believe like you, think like you, and that is a good feeling. We don't strive for other people to validate us, but when you find people who are like-minded and somebody who really gets you, and I think that's what a lot of young people deal with too, is the peers wanting to be accepted and wanting to be able to fit in. And a lot of times that's hard. Listening to Aisha talk about her parents and her upbringing and her standards, and you're not coming down because sometimes people try to make you feel like you are weird or that there's something wrong with you because you don't, they call you a misfit because you don't fit in with anybody else. Well, hey, call me a misfit because if it doesn't go in line with my standards and values, yeah, I'm a misfit. I don't fit in. And that's okay. That's okay. So, I'm listening to you ladies, and already at a young age, you're finding your way and you're finding your niche and you're finding your groove. And not that there's not, you're not having no missteps or bad experiences, but even through it all, you're still weaving your way and you're finding your way and you're getting there. And the beautiful thing about it, you're doing it at a young age.
Mhm.
At a young age. So just imagine by the time you're 30 and you're 40 and you're 50, oh, you are going to be setting the world on fire.
Oh, I'm hitting 31 next month. So my old
Not my
Girl,
old.
you're still a baby, honey, but you are doing awesome.
yes.
Both of you all are. And so, listen, ladies. So, let me ask you this, and we're getting ready to close. This has been a great conversation, and I'm just loving everyone in the comments. Hey, Rosa Farmer. Hi. Rosie, we have two. Rose Graham said, awesome artist. Love this, Morgan. You're talented for sure. Yes, she is. And I just love that she co-wrote the play. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, ladies, so compared to where you were 5 years ago, How do you feel about your growth, and are you confident about your future success as an adult? Compared to 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Morgan, you had to be what, like 17, 17. So 5 years ago, how do you feel about your growth from where you were 5 years ago? And how confident are you that, hey, uh, girl, you're going to be all right? My future is great. How confident are you about your future success as an adult, continuing into this adulting?
I feel a lot more confident now, but I think it's because since I've left that environment and gone into a new environment with
Mhm.
options and opportunities and just so many more different types of people and a lot of people who now understand what it is I want to do and they're also on the same track. I feel like I have a lot more support into going into what I want to do. My
Mhm.
high school didn't have a lot of options to be creative, and they kept cutting programs. So I was in school, and we didn't have drama, and the tiny little drama department we had, they cut my orchestra program while I was in it, and then they cut the culinary arts program. They just started cutting all types of programs, everything I was interested in. And so now being in college and being having the opportunity to create my own not create my own programs, but use more programs within the school, but also outside through like
Mhm.
just the various people that I've met, I feel a lot more prepared because now I know that I have people I can call and say, hey, you remember me? I worked on this thing with you. Can I, get a job? Yeah, it feels a lot easier to find people to support me than it did back in the day when I didn't even have a program to get me started.
That's awesome. That is so great. Dr. Karis and Morgan, you will, when you meet Debbie Allen and Spike Lee, get an autograph for me.
Well,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember them asking Al Green when he was a young man, what does the future mean for him? So, that made me think about when you said opportunities and that you are prepared for those opportunities that are going to come in your future, and you feel confident that you're going to be, that you are prepared to seize those moments. That's awesome. I love it. What about you, Aisha?
Let's see, I was 25. So I do think like I don't know. I just think like I just don't know. I do know, like right now, like the journey that I'm on, the things that happened during that time, it really did prepare me for the person I am today, and the
Mhm.
steps to success right now. You look at a lot of things that sometimes we look at the things that we went through and we're embarrassed by them. We're like, why did I do that? But I can honestly say, like, God knew us before we were even you know, formed in our mother's belly. That's scripture. So,
Mhm.
and he has a purpose for our life. Now, the steps in the journey, it might be different. He gives us free will to make those decisions and stuff, but the purpose is still there. So I know for a fact, like the Lord gave me my purpose, my vision, even before I was formed. And the steps that I went through, they were my choices, but they
Mhm.
still manifested into the success and the person that I am today. So, as of right now, how do I feel about what was the question? How I feel about
Your
the
future,
future?
your
The
success
future.
your ongoing success in your
I
future.
feel like I didn't hit the worst part, and really not the worst part because I really do believe that people are far worse off than you, and I think that when you get older, you kind of realize that, like the things you cried about, like it was people during that time that was praying that they were in the situation that you're in. So I know now, like I know, like our future, my future with just with God and my family, my friends, the ladies that he's putting across our path, it's going to be great. I believe in speaking things into the universe, speaking things into existence, so that they will be. So I don't know. It's going to be. It's.
I
I'm.
believe it. Girl, you already look just like Tree said. She said both of you all are about to set the world ablaze, and she said she here for all four. We all gonna be watching.
And
We know two
she's
people
right
gonna be
along.
watching.
At least she's right along with us. I like Morgan was saying, like, you know, the different people that you meet is for a purpose, is for a reason. Me and Treese didn't even know each other. I kid you not. And we've been rocking this, changing lives one pearl at a time for 7 years. So, you know, I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for the people that have come across my path. But yep, if I'm moving, she moving too. So she's gonna set the world ablaze too. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Rose Graham said, "That's great job, Aisha. Keep making a difference in the world. Your program sounds inspiring. Blessings upon you. You're going to do great, great, great things. Both of you are. And I'm like Teresa, and I'm all here for it, because now that I got my eyes on both of you, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be listening. I already told Bernadette when I told Bernadette Morgan better when she hit that hit Hollywood, she better have me a ticket.
I heard that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because it's
don't play, Chrisette. I tell Chrisette, don't play.
Don't play.
Speak it.
Don't
Speak
play.
it. It's gonna come.
Better have me a ticket. I know you got to give one to your mom and dad, but and then after your mom and dad. But it's going to be great. Jamie said, yes, Morgan. I look forward to. She said, I look forward to your first screenplay and movie. That's what I'm talking about. That's right.
Awesome.
First screenplay and movie. So we're getting ready about to close, but we're going to ask Bernadette to give us. So Bernadette, what about that young adult, that person that's still stuck, afraid to take them wings?
I think kind of what helped this. The advice that I would give to them, first of all, the advice that I'm going to give to you two ladies as well is continue to journey and write down what you want to accomplish. As they say, most of the time, if you have something written down, that's what you're going to accomplish. And writing it down means cutting out a picture, writing it down, bullet pointed. You know, if you have that best friend, call that best friend, say, this is what I'm dreaming about. This is my vision. I can tell you just from even college, I've been telling Cassandra since I was in college, I'm gonna own a business. I'm gonna own a business. I'm gonna own a business. And that's been my dream. Even from 8 years old, I said, that's going to be my dream. And I would write it down. I would cut it out and put it in paper. And that's the life I live today. And even the parts that I didn't tell, my children now get to live that life. So my again, to be able to say, okay, this is the type of house you're going to live in. This is the type of life you're going to have. But I wrote all of that stuff down even before journaling was a thing. So my words to you is write it down and make the vision plain. So don't make it difficult. Just make it plain. Just decide what you want to do. Go ahead, step out and do it and get beyond the fear. So, and again, trust yourself. Trust the things that you're thinking about doing. Trust your dream. Trust your vision. Yes, don't worry about the naysayers. As Morgan said, don't even listen to them. Let that come and go. That'll be like the wind. If it comes, you know how the wind comes and go. You don't know what direction it came from, and you don't know where the wind went to. So negative people, let them come and go like the wind. Stay focused, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. I cannot express that enough. Stay focused. Close to 30, I remember what that was like. And it's a scary place. I know it's a scary place, but I promise you it's a scary place and it's the best place. You're too far to turn around and you got to move forward. So every day, know what you're going to do every day. Not 2 weeks from now, not 6 weeks from now, just one day at a time. Focus on one day at a time. Other than that, you're going to be awesome. One day at a time. All you got is 24 hours. Just use your 24 hours. Don't worry about 72. Don't worry about 36. If I had learned that years ago, I'd be in a different place. Focus on today. That's it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And that goes a lot, in line with what Debbie Phillips just said. I want to say Debbie Phillips said, let me get back to Debbie's comment because it was great. But she was just encouraging you ladies, you go forward because she said, according to your faith, be it unto you all. That's exactly right. According to your faith. And I believe because you ladies have spoken it and Bernadette has just confirmed what you all have spoken, we're going to see great things. And I think you all are doing great. Sometimes, we feel like, I'm just not how am I doing? And I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be, or I should be here. I thought I was going to be further along than what I am, but you're doing great. You're doing
Absolutely.
awesome.
Because it's crazy. Yeah. And I don't want to keep the time, but it's crazy because even like now, I was telling my advisors, it's 7 years. I feel like Pearls is supposed to be like so far. I'm like, it's supposed to be so far, but then you meet a person, they're like, hey, I love what you're doing, and I want to do exactly what you're doing. What steps do you have for me? And I'm like, okay, so we're doing something right. And we're making a difference somewhere. So, not rushing the process, because again, like if it was rushed, it might not even something wouldn't have happened, something wouldn't have clicked, we would have missed something. We wouldn't have been able to utilize what we know now to become a better organization in our future. So again, I really do appreciate y'all so much. I enjoy myself. Morgan, girl, keep that attitude. I swear, I just wish I was so much like you, like focused. Well, I'm focus driven now, but if I was focus driven as a younger adult, it would have been, oh my God, like, I don't know where I probably would have been, I don't know, a millionaire or something. I don't know. But I wish you just good luck, girl. Blessings. You're going to do it.
You too.
You too, girl, at 31.
And I want to hear about y'all nonprofit too.
You want
like the mentoring program, right?
Yes. Bernadette, tell me a little bit about your mentoring program.
Well, the mentoring program I do right now is I assist I work with some men, but mostly women who are in a financial place, low income, and try to help them get to a higher income and help them see what that world can be like. So if you're making less than $25 an hour, I work with you to get you $25 traveling, just give you a whole different view of what this world has to offer you, especially if you're a single parent and don't see a way out. Like, there is a way out. And when I say a way out, I'm talking financially. Yes, you have that baby. And if you want to provide more for your baby, there is a way you can provide more for your baby and make some good, healthy financial decisions. You don't have to struggle. So that's my goal, is to teach that you don't have to struggle.
We having our Pearls conference in June. I wish we would have known that. We could have made you a speaker with our parents. But now I know.
I will come. Just squeeze me in somewhere.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. And we're going to be working on some things coming August. I got more, and we're going to let you know about it.
Yes, but we do have some programs coming.
On the 28th of this month, that's not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, those of you in the area, I would like to invite you to come and worship with me at Shady Grove Missionary Baptist Church in Inverness, Mississippi, where Pastor Jimmy Barnett is the pastor. And I'm going to be there with the ladies of the church for their Women's Day. And the program will start at 11 o'clock. So those in the area, come out and fellowship with us and come and support me. And I'm going to be the guest speaker. And so, we got a lot of things coming up. So we're going to definitely be in touch with Aisha and Morgan. To help us with the things that we are trying to do here in this area. And I love what Aisha is doing. And of course, Aisha Bernadette has come to the Delta to help with some of the events that I've been doing. And so now that we know that Morgan has these gifts and abilities, her mama already put her to work, and I'm going to put her to work.
Mamas do that, Morgan. It's okay, girl. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Enjoy the journey. Well, it has been wonderful. Thank you, all of those who have joined us on this live tonight, and your engaging comments in the chat. We had a gentleman on here with us, one of our favorite gentlemen to be on here. He's an entrepreneur. Jonathan White was on earlier. So we thank you all for joining us and being a part of this conversation. I want to thank my guests tonight, Morgan Frazier and Aisha Saffold, for being on tonight. It was a wonderful, great conversation. That's right, Jamie. It was a great session, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. And of course, this is a conversation that we can continue. And thank you, Treese, for being on. Treese said it was a great, wonderful session. So we're going to say good night, and this will not be the end. And we thank you all for joining us. And we want you to have a prosperous weekend. And remember,
Absolutely.
the words that Bernadette said, hey, take one day at a time.
One day at a
Take one day at a time. You're going to make it.
time.
It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You're going to be that person. You're going to be that person.
Cynthia
Just
said
keep
more
on.
info on the pearls.
Oh, Cynthia wants more info on the pearls. Pearls.
Okay, I can send you some information, Miss Cynthia.
Okay. And so we're going to what I should have done, Aisha. But Aisha can be found on Facebook. Do you have a Facebook page, Aisha?
My whole name right there, Aisha Irma Lenore Saffold. That's me. Or look up Pearls Mentoring for Girls Incorporated. But yes, our June event is our 2023 Pearls Conference. It's our first conference since COVID, and we are super excited about it. It's going to be hosted in the heart of the Delta, Greenwood, Mississippi. So we're super excited. 200 plus girls from Mississippi and Tennessee. So we're super excited about that. And yes, I thank y'all so much just for being just this avenue for us to come and speak. I thank y'all so much. I learned so much just watching y'all lives and stuff. So thank y'all so much.
Awesome. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to get more information from Aisha, and it will be on my business page and my personal page and my LinkedIn page and my Instagram page. So you'll be able to go to those pages to find out more information. Again, thank you all, and thank you all to my guests and my reoccurring guest, transformation coach, Bernadette Hicks Kelly. You all have a wonderful night, and thank you so much. Good night.
Good night, y'all.
Bye-bye.